Mr. Dennis Brown, come on out and kick it out. Come on. Yeah, ooh, yeah, oh, yeah, yeah, ooh, oh, oh, oh. We want to see all the hands in the air and wave like this.
Hello everybody, you're welcome back again to the Reggae Appreciation Society. And in this video we are asking the question, why is reggae so big in Japan? Reggae is one of the most popular and fast-growing genres of music in the world. From its early days as a homegrown Jamaican creation in the 1960s, its roots have spread and planted the music, culture and way of life around the globe. As reggae began to grow and get noticed abroad, its first landing points overseas were the United Kingdom due to its colonial relationship with Jamaica, and then to other parts of Europe, then to America. By the 1970s, its energy was reverberating around the European countries and down to Africa with huge fan bases. One massive and fanatical fan base that people generally don't remember is Japan. The island nation has had an almost religious following since the 1970s. There are 300 sound systems in Japan, which is more than you have even in Jamaica. Not to mention a large number of reggae artists and festivals that draw astonishing crowds every year. It's probably the most reggae crazy country on earth. But how did reggae get to be so big in an Asian country, almost 13,000 kilometers from Jamaica? To answer this question, we need to go back to the 1973 Jamaican gangster movie, The Harder They Come, which starred reggae artist Jimmy Cliff. The film was a big hit worldwide and boasted of a phenomenal soundtrack by a lineup of musicians that included the Pioneers, the Maytals, Jimmy Cliff, and Desmond Dekker. It told the story of a musician turned gangster. The movie is credited with introducing the world to the vivid imagery and sounds of Jamaica, not to mention the music, Rastafarians, and general culture of the Caribbean island. When it was shown to audiences in Japan, it totally fascinated viewers and was the trigger for an interest in Jamaica and reggae. Japanese tourists began to choose the Caribbean island nation and immerse themselves in the culture firsthand, bringing records back home and sowing seeds for what would be a reggae revolution in the future. The movie soundtrack had unveiled the vivacious nature of reggae and there was no turning back. In the summer of 1975, the Jamaican reggae band called the Pioneers became the first to set foot on Japanese soil. The group was on a promotional tour for their British record label, Trojan Records. The label, having observed the strong and growing presence of reggae consumers, decided to explore that market, and the success of the tour resulted in Jimmy Cliff playing shows in Jamaica during his world tour in 1977 and 1978. Now, up until this time, reggae had been largely an underground movement with a small number of record shops in Tokyo that specialized in importing reggae albums from Jamaica, and a handful of reggae-centric bars and clubs like Club 69 in Shinjuku, where only reggae was played. All that was about to change, and the new sound from Jamaica was about to go mainstream with the visit of the international messenger of reggae himself. By 1979, Bob Marley was an established superstar and international ambassador of reggae. He was still basking in the success of his Kaya album released in 1978 and had toured Europe and America extensively. His record company thought it was wise to extend his success to new markets and broader horizons, and lined up tours to promote his new live album titled Babylon by Boss. He was scheduled to tour Japan, New Zealand, Australia and Hawaii, and was billed to play 8 concerts in Japan. And by the time Bob Marley and the Wailers arrived in Japan in April 1979, they met a fertile ground that was eager to receive the music and the message. From the moment they set foot in the land of the rising sun, they met enthusiastic fans, eager journalists, and were treated like royalty. Bob was particularly surprised at the concerts when he found that the audience would sing along to his music word for word, as the fans, who mostly couldn't speak English, had memorized the lyrics in Japanese from the album sleeves. The spiritual Japanese had studied the lyrics, and the messages seemed to resonate deeply with them. The impact of the tour was immense and helped form the foundation of the Japanese reggae scene, or J-Reggae as is popularly known. J-Reggae's origins are traceable to a Japanese singer, percussionist and producer named Hashida Masahito, who went by the stage name Pekka. He was a huge reggae fan and he met up with Bob Marley during his time in Japan, and both guys became very good friends. They came up with an idea to record music in Jamaica with Jamaican and Japanese artists. Pekka and his crew came to Jamaica in 1980 and recorded a number of songs at Tough Gong Studios, with support from Sly Dunbar and Robbie Shakespeare, Marshall Griffiths, and the Wailers Band. This material formed the first two Japanese reggae albums, In Pekka Power and Instant Rasta. This set off a chain reaction and reggae explosion that is still felt today. Osaka is considered the heartbeat or Japanese capital of reggae. It's been said that it's Japan's own piece of Jamaica with a huge, passionate army of fans. The Jamaican-Japanese connection is so strong that Joe Yamanaka, a Japanese musician, was very close to the Wailers and even acted as frontman for a while after the death of Bob Marley in 1981. Reggae Sunsplash, which was Jamaica's first and most influential reggae festival, began touring in Japan in 1985, and before long, an indigenous version called Japan Splash started and became an annual event in that country, drawing in tens of thousands of attendees and attracting Jamaican heavyweights like Dennis Brown, Gregory Isaacs, and Marshall Griffiths. With time, more Japanese artists began to perform at Japan Splash, and they now dominate with only a few Jamaican artists being invited these days. Sound systems also began to emerge in the 1980s, and by the mid-1990s had become a feature of Jamaican music culture. Like we said earlier in the video, there are more sound systems in Japan today, with superstar reggae DJs who have large followerships all over Japan. Aside from roots reggae, dancehall, which is a derivative of roots, is also immensely popular in Japan. And incidentally, the origins of electronic or digital dancehall has its roots in Japan. The first studio-created instrumentals for a dancehall track came from a Casio Tone MT40 keyboard invented by a Japanese engineer called Hiroko Okuda. The song was a smash hit titled Under Me Slang Tang by a Jamaican dancehall artist called Wayne Smith, and it was produced by the legendary Jamaican producer King Jammy. The popularity of reggae in Japan is getting hotter with no signs of cooling, and the connection with Jamaica is now almost spiritual, with thousands of Japanese reggae fans making trips every year to soak up the culture and get inspired in Jamaica. We can only expect that the connection will continue to thrive for many years to come. So there you have it. Thank you for watching this video today. Please leave a like, subscribe, and we'd love to hear your comments. So please, you can leave them in the comments section. And until next time, Jah bless.